Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new series that I'm starting on This Is Life Yoga that I hope everybody enjoys. It's not necessarily directly aimed at the self care, but it's part of it. It's more about self journey, self exploration, which can be definitely woven into the concept of self care. Anyway, the idea is I'm going to pick a theme or topic for each of these. This week being trust. And we're going to use a yoga pose to play around with trust in our own body. And then you're also going to find a link to a Google Drive where you can download a worksheet for yourself that I am, well, actually, I've already created and will be uploading. That way you can access it and you can continue to do some more exploration on your own in words and images. You can access different ways of learning because that's what really helps us understand things when we explore it from different angles. So this is going to be the more kinesthetic piece of it, the more body oriented, but that doesn't mean can't continue exploring from the body perspective. You'll kind of notice that on the worksheet as well. So as mentioned, this is about trust. This topic can bring up a lot of stuff for people, and that brings a lot for me, especially from my childhood and when I was told about trust. So be with what comes up with it, right? I'm not here to do therapy with you. This is going to just be more of an exploration again through yoga. So be mindful if you're triggered or need some support, please use 988. If you have a therapist, please work with your therapist around anything that comes up. And if something becomes too triggering for you, which it may happen, I don't know, please stop the video and do something different, right? It's okay to not continue. You need to do what's best for you. If trust isn't the topic you want to focus on, fine. And you can always come back to it later. So with that said, if you've got yoga blocks and straps, books, neckties, scarves, anything you want, props. So props are going to also be something that figures really greatly into these as well because, again, we forget that asking for support and asking for help can be one of our greatest tools. And not to mention, when we go places with support, we can find that we can learn a little bit more and find someone we want. So that is why you'll see me hugging my yoga blocks and my yoga straps because I really value that aspect of what they provide. So with that said, trust is the topic, and the pose that we're going to explore in conjunction with trust is boat pose. Okay. Took me a while to figure out what pose I wanted to use to explore this topic because trust can show up in a lot of different forms. And I finally decided what better place to start talking about trust than in our own bodies with trusting ourselves, take care of and catch us and all those things. And you know what? We may not trust ourselves too. That also may come up. And that's kind of what you may find in this exploration. So boat has many poses, in many forms. You can sit here with boat pose. Right? Just having your feet on the floor, which is great. That provides the stability and support. This is great with boat pose. There's this variation of boat pose where you need a bent, you're holding on, getting support here, and then let go, or another slow boat. So we're going to play around with your core, right? Your core is your core actually includes your glutes, your back, your stomach, all these different things. What I want you to pay attention to as you start to play with boat is at what point your core starts to catch you or doesn't catch you. When does your core engage? How does it engage? How do you know that you can trust that your body will be there for you? Right? One thing I can definitely say is I trust my breathing. My brainstem regulates that. It's like, I gotcha. Even if you decide to not think about breathing, I'm still going to breathe. And if the body's thought about that. Let's say we're walking down the street and we trip and we fall. Somewhere in that process, your body's organizing and your body's reacting, it's figuring out, oh, maybe I can catch myself and tries to catch itself, right? There's this instinct for it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at where does our core start to engage. And the other thing to play with is your conscious choice over when your core engages. because you have that, right? One of the beauties of the frontal lobe is we have a chance to engage in something versus not. Sometimes we can fall into the lower parts of our brain where we react instead of act. So there's lots of different concepts you can play with. And unfortunately, I don't have the time to go too deep into any of these, but we'll see how this series goes. If it goes really well, maybe I'll start to pick apart things. But you'll have to let me know if it's something that you want. So we're going to start here in this version of boat. And the other thing you can use with this, I forgot to mention, is you can play around with using their strap. This as well, right? Because that adds a different element to it of being able to figure it out. So I'm actually going to use my strap in this case because I feel like this actually does help me to feel it a little bit better. To find your version of both, I recommend starting in this version to have that additional support. Find your opportunity to start to lean back. Holding onto your strap. Feel what your core does. When your core, like what happens? At some point, my core's like, I can't do this anymore, and my feet start to come off, and I go like this. That's an important point in my life. So I feel that, like, okay, this is where my body, I can trust that I can get to this point. I feel what that feels like. My core is engaged, active, and I can get myself up out of it. I trust that I can do that. If we jump up into this version of both, right? My core is already pretty nasty. So I trusted that my body, as I thought of it, my body knew if it came down, I could catch myself. Core is pretty active. If I start to lean back, I don't trust myself as much. I don't think my core is quite as strong. Quite as strong. Okay, I can strengthen my core. That's not the issue. The issue here is playing around, with what does it feel like? So maybe move up slightly, go back slightly. There's some nuances to this. So play around with what that feels like. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's all the way in full boat. It's your choice. To continue to see what comes up as you play. Pay attention to the little subtle shifts. When your core starts to fluctuate. Listen, and what happens when you say the word trust in your head? I trust myself. I trust my body. I trust the process. How does your body react when you're in these different versions of it as you're playing around with it? So if you've got the time to continue to play with this, please by all means continue to play with it. If you just discover a lot out of it, a lot out of this exercise, no pun intended, because you're probably going to get a little bit of a core workout too. Kind of, I guess, a side fringe benefit of it. But once again, continue to play. To play this a couple times, actually, what I would say. To continue, whether you play the video again or not, but play around with it. Continue to mess around and see what comes up. Make it a game, make it fun. Right? Not everything has to be. And then when you're ready, go ahead and download that worksheet and see what you can write about that experience. There's some questions for you to think about. There's an opportunity to draw. There's an opportunity to do more movement. Again, let me know what you think. If you like these videos, let me know, and I'll continue to do more of them and continue to share them with anybody else can benefit from this. And the only way I'll know is if you all let me know what you think. So please, please, please give me some feedback so I can continue to support you all. With that said, remember for future videos, always do a couple for sure. Remember, bring some support supplies because that's going to be a big piece of this. And I look forward to seeing you on next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.